Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Kong with a totally normal episode of Should You Summon. As always, I'm going to be presenting high-level overviews using these 4 criteria to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. How these characters fit into your team, whether they unlock any bonds, what kind of content they're used for, and their future availability. So let's get right into this Destiny banner featuring Ledin, Rachel, and Altemuller, running from April 1st to 14th. As a Destiny banner, your first SSR is guaranteed to be a featured character you don't already have. After your first SSR, then you can start pulling off-banner heroes. Let's get started with Ledin. Ledin's a tank who uses a combination of his defense and magic defense instead of his attack. He can counterattack twice, which means he does big damage to melee attackers. His 3-cost skill teleports a nearby enemy to him and then attacks him, also reducing their movement and making them unable to guard. It's a good way to lock down a tank or pull a squishy target away from safety. His unique hammer also has slightly lower stats than Oath of Justice, but it does give him a receive after he kills a target. He's a member of Protagonists, buffed by Matthew, and Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledin, Elwyn, and Grenier. His faction buff for Legion of Glory increases damage dealt by 20% when you're under attack. For bonds, he unlocks and attacks bonds for Chris, Grenier, and Narm. For his own bonds, he needs Chris for his very important defensive bond, and Elwyn for his less important attack bond. For content, in PvE, he's on faction for Hugin and Munin in Ancient Beckoning, but not exactly a useful pick there, and Scylla and Phoenix in the Eternal Temple. He's also a great tank for general content because of his beginner-friendly faction. On the PvP side, Legion of Glory's recent rise to prominence brought Ledin back into the spotlight in multi-tank boxes. He'll mostly be used as a secondary tank to disrupt enemy guard, and he'll probably start to get less common again next season as reincarnation gets more popular and debuffs make a comeback. For availability, this same banner with Rachel and Altemuller should be coming back in August. Moving on to Rachel. Rachel is a mage with a great combination of AoE and single target skills. Her talent allows her to remove debuffs and heal surrounding allies after doing damage. Her 3-cost skill is a big blast that causes several stacks of fixed damage, and she has Gospel. With a Scepter of Divinity, Rachel can use her powerful single target spells like Dark Reaper and Holy Word at 3 range, meaning she can be a bit safer when attacking other ranged threats or range counter tanks like Landinus. She's a member of Protagonists, buffed by Matthew, and Yellis Legends, buffed by Landius and Sigma. For bonds, she unlocks the defensive bond for Lambda and the all-important attack bond for Landius. For her own bonds, she needs Angelina for her defensive bond and Landius for her attack bond. For content, in PvE, she's on faction against Phoenix in the Eternal Temple. In Ancient Beckoning, she's on faction for Hugin and Munin, and she's one of the top-tier picks against Needhog. She's also great against the Ice Dragon. She doesn't show up as often as she used to in the Apex arena, but her versatility means she can still be great in the right box. For availability, in addition to the mid-August return of this same banner, Rachel will also be on a Destiny banner in late June with Lana and Tyrus. Finally, we have Altemuller. Altemuller is a tanky flyer. His talent lets him accumulate stacks of attack boost and damage reduction, and his unique Secret Realm helmet increases the duration of semi-buffs. His 3-cost skill gives him an additional attack without moving again if he's in the midst of multiple enemies. In July, he'll be getting access to his SP class. His new skills kind of double down on his 3C. One is a passive that lets him move through enemies and heal before combat. The other is a 2-ring AoE that transfers enemies next to him and lets him attack again. There's obviously some great combo potential there. He's a member of Strategic Masters, buffed by Altemuller and Lanford, Dark Reincarnation, buffed by Bolzel and Licorice, and Empire's Honor, buffed by Bernhardt, Leon, Lance, and Rosenchill. His fusion power allows you to treat all passable terrain as planes, which was absolutely essential for Leon before he got his unique dragon armor, and grants you 15% damage when attacking from defensive terrain. For bonds, he unlocks the attack bonds for Anna, Emmerich, Sigma, and Varna. For his own bonds, he only needs Anna and Emmerich. Easy. For content in the Eternal Temple, he's on faction for Leviar, Phoenix, and Valkyrie, but he's only really useful against the latter two. In Ancient Beckoning, he's still one of the key units for both Fenrir and Sleipnir. His use in PvP has dropped off since the early seasons of Apex Arena, and his 3C skill alone didn't exactly salvage him. But he has new tricks up his sleeve with his SP class, and the rise of Bernhardt and his Empire faction could see Altemuller making a comeback as well. For availability, the same banner with Ledin and Rachel should be coming back in August. Okay, so here's the quick and dirty summary of this video. We have a Ledin, who's a solid tank with a faction buff for Legion of Glory. He unlocks attack bonds for Chris, Grenier, and Narm. We have Rachel, who's a versatile, magical attacker with secondary healing. She unlocks the defensive bond for Lamba and an attack bond for Landius. And we have Altemuller, who's a durable flyer with a new SP class on the way. He has a faction buff for Strategic Masters, and he unlocks attack bonds for Anna, Emmerich, Sigma, and Varma. Finally, just my usual reminder about upcoming banners. Next week should be the launch of the brand new crossover featuring these little cartoon children. The week after will be a raid-up banner featuring Rainforce and the Sage of the Trees. Let me know in the comments if you're planning on summoning on this banner and what kind of luck you've had. I'm hoping to add a tiny ninja to my Apex Arena next week, so I'll be passing on this one to keep saving up. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon.